All right.
A little braids over this way.
Mm.
All right, we'll just let a couple of people come on in the room.
And I was right. I was right. I was right. We're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you predicted some things, and it looks like some stuff might have played out. Might have played out, Chuck. So we will like I said, we'll allow a couple of people to come on in. Come on in.
I'm thinking people like what we're doing.
Well, the biggest thing that I've noticed, especially like on our YouTube channel, is if they didn't catch it, they'll come back on and make a comment
Right.
about it. And I think the biggest thing too that some people can appreciate is that we're talking about this from a financial point of view, right? Because everybody that talks about it really talks about it from, you know, all of the sex and the scenes and the, craziness that happens. But a lot of people are not paying attention to some points that we've gone over, which is the financial point of view,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Well, life and business. Yeah.
Right, right. That's one of the things that we do here in the lab is we talk about life and business. So even though this is a great show that talks about different topics, this show is one of the shows that we both noticed right away has open dialogue from A to Z about the finances that's going on, whether it's the finances with Uncle Clifford, finances with the strippers, the finances, the strategies, some business stuff that's going on. My nose is running a little bit, so I'm sorry. I better get a tissue before I go here.
And it's what I didn't like the show at all. The first episode.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. I was like, I'm not gonna watch this. It's not me. But I gave it a second chance, and I watched the second episode. And then when I watched it again, I looked at it through my regular lens, and I was like, wait a minute, something's going on here. And as I started keep watching, I was like, okay, I see it. I see what's going on. All right, okay, I got it now. I just had to like, I had to filter some of the other stuff. I was like, oh yeah, okay,
Right. And that's the thing. A lot of men say that they're not watching it, which I get and understand because it is a lot going on. But that's the whole point that we're talking about. Like, yeah, but it's a lot of other things that's going on in the show, and this is what we're bringing to your attention is
here's what I say with the guys who are having issues. Um, there's like a 10-second button on your remote. Just hit the 10-second button and just keep hitting it until the scenes move forward until you're comfortable with the next scene. That's all you got to do. It's nice and simple. Yeah.
okay. Well, I think we're ready. We got people in the room, so let's roll.
All right. Good. All right. You want to make the intro real quick and be like, because this is the last one.
This the last one on P-Valley, you all, and Chuck has a lot for you. So intro, if you are new to my page and channel, hello, my name is Patrice L. Stewart. I am the realist and business strategist that you will ever meet. And I am on here tonight with Chuck the man, Chuck the finance guy. And we've done this series the last couple of weeks. This our fourth week? Okay. So this is our fourth week, and we've done this series. Is this the fifth week? That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
one extra one because of the last episode. So this is our fifth one.
Fifth week. Okay, so this is the fifth week that we
Brother
decided.
from the fifth floor.
Brother man from the fifth floor. So this is the fifth week that we've talked about this, the P-Valley series from a financial point of view, right? And so that's what Chuck and I both do. We're in the financial world industry. And so we wanted to bring something new and innovative to you guys that's not really, been done before. So tonight Chuck has a lot of information that we're going to wrap up in these last two episodes. And let's roll. We're going to go over this P-Valley series from a financial point of view.
Okay, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Patrice, for having me on again. And thank you for the insights. And we have a lot to cover because this is the last one. And I'm totally happy with the way it ended. I We don't know if there's going to be a season three. There are some things that if you saw it, you can see it. But from my perspective, if they did not have a season three, they covered everything financially when it comes to um, the the pink and all the things that I'm looking at it through my lens. So just want to share that with you. If they have more, I'm kind of see where they're going to go with it, but I'm totally happy with these two seasons. So I'm gonna share that. That's my own personal insights. And before we even get started, just want you to know that all of these are my personal insights. They're not anything from the writers or anything from the producers. They're just my interpretation of what I'm seeing. It's just that I'm looking at it from a lens that a lot of other people are not looking at it through. So we're hoping that we get a better understanding of some of the things that we're watching. But also, what we're trying to do is we're trying to train you, being that this is the lab, we're trying to train you to look at things from a different lens, not from an alternate lens, but always know that sometimes you have to see things from a different perspective to truly understand what the meaning is. So that's what it's all about. We're not saying that what you see is incorrect. We just want to show you some other small details that you might have missed. And
Right.
that's what it's all about. So we're getting some good hits. And remember, if you're on YouTube, or if you're on, leave a comment, say something, give us a heads up, let us know what's going on. Let the world know that you are understanding and you're learning from the lab. And that's the key to it. So we're going to get roll right into it. Last two episodes, number 9 and number 10. Number 9 episode was really a filler episode. It was 2 parts, and they were actually technically one episode, but they split it in two because it was like a continuation from number 9. The number 9, it really wasn't a lot of business in it. It was just continuation of the same thing that was going on before. But there is, and I'm going to point out because we talk about financial literacy and we talk about the lens and life and business. So there's an important scene. You find out you don't know this yet, but it's confirmed in episode 10. You find out that Roulette is a pimp. Did you notice that, Patrice?
Yes.
Roulette's a pimp, and you find
Yes.
that out. Barry, you find it out in the last episode. It alludes to it, but you find it out and you're like, wait a minute, okay, now it's actually sincere that we know she's a pimp. Okay, so that's key. Now there's a scene in episode 9 where Little Murder and Mercedes are in that room, the red room, and they're talking. And remember, Mercedes doesn't know that Little Murder's gay. And she doesn't know that her and Clifford are together. She doesn't know that he and Clifford are together. She doesn't know this. So he's sitting there and he's talking to Mercedes. And Mercedes is like, she is it's kind of thing like you don't know what you're doing, blah blah blah. And Little Murder is like, I'm shaking, my leg is bouncing because you are the legend. You are the one that my music is based off of. If you can dance to my music, I know I'm going to be a hit. And he's talking to her about this, and she's like, "Oh wow, you know what? Okay, all right, yeah, you don't know, whatever, whatever, whatever." But also, what's going on through her brain is she can't dance anymore because of that shoulder, right? So she doesn't have the confidence to go out there and do her thing like she's supposed to. So understand all of this is going to come into play because later on it's going to explode because that last episode was phenomenal. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that with you. So now she doesn't, and she thought that Little Murder was hitting on her. And he's like, nah, you the legend. Yeah, I want to be like you. So she's like, oh wow. And so they kind of like formed a bond at that point in time because it's like, all right. And again, what are we looking at when it comes to life and life and business? Sometimes relationships aren't what you think.
Hmm.
You got to understand that. If you're able to communicate and you're sincere about it, you'll be surprised how many doors are going to be open. people think that, and especially when it comes to male and female, it's all about sex. One
Right.
thing I learned in corporate America, and we've been talking about finance and everything. One thing I learned about corporate America, when I was a manager, I've managed up to 24 people. And my job was not to see gender. I could not do that in corporate America. I had to see the person doing the job. And that taught me a lot because it's like, okay, I'm not looking at you as a male or female. I'm looking at you as an employee and you're doing the job because there was nothing in the job description that said that I had to treat you different because you were male and female. I want you to understand that. So now what happens is what people have to learn is that sometimes you have to take the gender out of this and do business.
Right.
A lot of men fail because they don't see the person across from them as a legitimate business person because they're female. And you have to stop doing that because you will be surprised that the opportunity that you're supposed to have is right in front of you, but you're still so caught up in the dogmatic Eurocentric realm of being the man on top. You're going to be surprised and you're going to cut yourself out a lot of deals. And take that physical stuff out of it, and you're going to be surprised. I just wanted to say that. So
I
now,
like that. I like that.
okay, we're going to move because there's a lot. I hope I got enough time. Okay, so now we're rolling into uh, number 10. And remember, Haley is still playing Andrew. I told you guys. I told you guys. I told you guys. Haley is a corporate raider. She's a manipulator. She knows what she's doing. And if you go back and watch it all over again, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Haley doesn't care about anything except getting paid.
Yeah.
One thing she cares about, and I'm going to share that with you, that I noticed that a lot of people, I hope you'll see it when I talk about it. Okay, so now, all right, so now, intro comes on, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Little Murder comes out, and if you guys, I hope you guys saw it. When he passes, what did he pass? He passed the mirror. And remember, the mirror was cracked. Got it? So the cracked mirror, so now he's looking at the mirror and he takes out his teeth. What is he doing? He's transforming.
Yeah.
That's what that is all about. And if you understand metaphysics and all of that stuff, the cracked mirror was all of, because I was looking at it and it's not just one image. When you have a cracked mirror and you have one image, it's the same image, but it's different. But all of these were different images. So that was him. His thing is, okay, who am I right now? Am I Little Murder? Am I whatever his name is? Am I all of this? But understand that that whole mirror, you can't separate that from everything else because that's all who you are. That's everybody. So when he pulled out his teeth, I looked at it, and remember, this is my interpretation. I looked at it as he was going back to the basics. He was going back home. He was going back to this. This is me. So right, when he walked out on stage, right, and remember, he came out there, cut the music. I want you to hear me.
Right.
And then boom, 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 boom. He spit his thing, and then
that's pressure.
Right. Right. And then old boy, and then boom, lights, boom, and who came out? Mercedes, boom, tore up. I mean, boom, 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 boom. It's like, oh my God, wow. So what I want you guys to see is that what was happening was, okay, this is me. This is what you get. Mercedes comes out, and remember, Mercedes never danced for him before.
Right.
It was always
Mississippi, Miss Mississippi.
But here is the okay. This is what I wanted all the time. I wanted you to dance off my music. You're the legend. I'm just following you. The humility of all of that. And when she came out there and she did that flip, I was like, oh my God. But wait a minute. Remember, in the prior episode, she wanted to quit. She didn't have the confidence. So now she got it back because sometimes, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes. And I keep telling you guys, you got to get a Little Murder in your corner. Somebody that's going to hype you up, and you don't feel like you can do it. You got to have somebody like that in your life.
Hype man.
I'm just letting you know that. So yeah, the hype man. Yeah, got it.
Hype man, old Flavor Flav back in the day.
So now you see that, boom, boom, boom. Now, if you remember that song, 7 Pounds of Pressure. Now remember, that scene that I talked about prior in the episode prior, when he gave her the headphones, that was the song she was listening to. Seven
Right.
Sunshine.
We didn't know that then, right.
Know it did. You got to go back and like, oh, that's the song. So now, and then you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh my gosh. Okay. So now that happens. So the next scene, right? You find out the mayor, Patrice,
Patrice ended up taking over the mayor.
you got the chair, right? So here's the funny thing about that is she's in the office, right? And she's tearing down the place cards, blah, blah, blah. And she sits in the chair. What happened when she sat in the chair, Patrice? Remember?
Falls. She falls over immediately.
What does that mean? She's not ready for the seat. All these things, and mind you, we might be going over the top, looking at things, blah, blah, blah. But understand that chair, that's the mayor's chair. She sat in it, she leaned back, she fell right over.
Yeah, right over.
That's like, you're not ready for that chair. You're not ready. So we don't know how this is going to play out in the future. But these are small little cues that you look at, be like, okay, I see. Why would they do that?
Right.
Why would they do that? You got to look at that. So understand. So I'm looking at something in the future when that happens. I don't think she's going to do well, of course, but we'll see. But again, my interpretations. Okay. So now, next scene, we go Mercedes in the house, door, FedEx. She gets the art, she gets the poster, and the $30,000 check, right? That Farrah, the coach's wife, gave her, right? Important role, important scene. Farrah did not have to do that. Farrah did not have to give her the $300,000. Okay. Farrah could have said, no, you don't deserve this, whatever. But she did it out of the goodness of her heart. But Farrah says something that's so profound. She said that sponsorships expire, but royalties last forever.
Ever. Oh, I like when she said that to her.
So she's like, listen, I'm using your likeness. I've made money off this. You deserve royalties.
Right.
And
continue getting a check.
Continue getting the check.
You getting a check.
And Mercedes is like, this is how they do it in the art world. Yeah, yep. Mercedes is learning. And this is all part of what we're talking about, the object of you learning or the group learning things that they didn't know before. So she's shocked. She got the $30,000 check. And it's like, listen, this is what we do. We women can do this just like the big boys can. Profound. It's like, listen, just have faith, have belief, have confidence. We can get this done. And that was important because the part of it is that, you know what? One of the things we do, we teach about protection. We teach about protection. So now understand that the work that you're doing, how are you getting paid? Are you continually getting paid or are you only getting paid one time? That's what you got to think about. Got it? So, okay, let me move. Okay, I got you, Patrice. I'm not cutting you off, Patrice, but there's a whole lot.
No, you got a lot. And if we go over hours, okay. I mean, it's just the last one.
The next scene, right? You got Haley and Batson because remember, Andrew lost. Andrew lost. He's not going to be the mayor.
Right.
Haley calls Batson, the lady, and is like, listen, instead of 10, I want 15 million. Because Batson was like, oh, I don't need you anymore. Done deal. Haley has lost all her leverage. She doesn't
leverage. I told you she should have took that 5.
And remember, we talked about that.
Yeah.
As a dude, I'm a little bit more reckless, and which is fine. Yeah. But I know my personality, you know yours. And I'm not saying it's incorrect. No, it's just our personalities. So now she lost her leverage with the pink, but we don't know this. Why? Because it comes out later. So now the next scene, Corbin and his brother are on the porch and they do this large pan out, right? This area view, right? And you see they're clearing the trees on Corbin's land. They're creating what? They're creating the waterfront property. Got it? So where did they get that idea from? They got the idea from the episodes before when Uncle Clifford was talking to Corbin about if you can't bring the water, if you can't go to the water, you bring the water to you, something like that. When he
was that when he was whipping him, when he paid him the $250 to whip him in the room?
This is before. This is when he was trying to get the pump to work. He was trying to get that pump to work and it wasn't working.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And then he said, sometimes, if you can't get to the water, you got to bring the water to you. And that's where they got the idea from. Because what happens is Clifford figured out how to make this plan work for him to save the pink. That's
Mm,
what it's all about. So now,
right.
again, you see the aerial view, and they're making all of this, and they're making the canal. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you don't see all this beforehand. You can't predict it, but it's happening. So that's key. So that's how she loses her leverage. Yes, Patrice, she should have took the 5.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. She should have took the 5.
Yeah, got it. Should have took the 5. A bird in the hand? A bird in the hand. Right. Got it. Understand. So so now she lost the leverage. So now she's trying to figure out what she's gonna do. Okay. So what happens? The next scene, Little Murder and Mississippi are in the parking lot, and they're leaving. Little Murder's supposed to go on tour. Mississippi is about to disappear. Remember, she's saying by she gets a whole bunch more money. My question is, what happened to all that money? But we'll come to that. Okay, so now um, the next scene, another powerful scene. Mercedes is in the studio, right? And she's in there by herself, and she's dancing, and it's like, wow, she got everything she wanted.
On it. Yep.
What did she want?
That
She wanted
studio.
the studio. And what was the reason why she wanted the studio? To get her daughter back.
Order.
That's what all of this is all about to her, to get her daughter back. In an earlier episode, she said nobody's going to give a stripper their child. She
Yeah.
said, so now that she has the dance studio, all of this for the last 2 seasons, this is what she's going, and she got it. And she's standing there and she's dancing on the pole by herself. And it's like amazing. It's an amazing scene because you got to listen, funny, listen to the song that's being played.
And play. Yeah. Yeah. You sent that to me. I like that.
I had to pull it up. I was like, and you listen to the lyrics. I was like, the lyrics are screwed up, but the song is it's like I'm a house head. I'm a deep house head. And one of the things about house music, one of the criteriums of being a house head is you have to dance like nobody's watching.
Hmm.
And that's what she was doing. There wasn't no raunchy songs. There wasn't nobody watching. She was dancing for her. She was celebrating herself.
Yep.
She was, her, the mirror. She had the posters up, and
Posters up.
and,
Yep.
and we talk about this because I look at it in a sense of you got to take those moments and celebrate yourself. Nobody else is about.
Yeah.
No, you give yourself a pat on the back. You give yourself the kudos. You give yourself that push, that energy, that I did it, and that's what she was doing. It was like, oh my gosh! And then what happens as she's doing it, and it's a nice scene, the music, and as she's looking, what happens? She looks in the mirror. Her mom is in there. Okay, all right. Then situation with the mom, and then what happens? Her mom brings her daughter and gives her daughter back. That's
Yeah.
all I
She
wanted.
said, I don't have time. I raised mine, so I'm gonna bring her in here to you. I was like, oh,
All she wanted, and
that's all we wanted.
that's deep because it's like everything that she worked for and everything she's working because she's old. She's like she's like 30 something. She's like I should have quit this 5 years ago. She got what she want, and this is why I think that at the end of the season, which is now, I'm totally happy with the results of the whole show because Mercedes got what she wants, Cliff got what he wants, my girl got what she wants. All of that. There are some other holes, but they're really not
The
that
majority of the players we like got what they want.
right. So this is okay, and it's a touching scene. It's like, oh my gosh. So so the next scene, right? Um, Haley and Clifford. Haley walks in. She's like, okay, she knows you're the one. You're behind this. Blah blah blah. And then okay. So now the difference is that the problem with this was her leverage was gone. Her mistake was she didn't know the rules of the game. She gave Clifford 30% ownership of the paint.
Yeah.
And according to that state, now I don't know if this is real or not, but according to that state, Clifford was able to negotiate anything when it comes to the pink because he was 30% owner.
Right.
Okay. So they did what's called a backdoor deal without Haley. Haley was upset, but Haley can't be mad, but it's her fault because again, she didn't know the rules of the game when it comes to real estate at that section, at that place, wherever it is in where's it at? Is
She
it
didn't look up her real estate laws,
right?
right? Yeah, she
She's a,
missed she missed that law.
right. She's a corporate lawyer.
Yeah.
So so now she's upset. So now it's like, okay. But the good part about that is listen to the conversation that they're having. Clifford is like, this could have been home. You had nowhere to go. I and Mercedes saved you. So it's like when you don't have anything, you don't have family. This could have been. We thought you were a sister. We took you in. We did all of this, but Haley was like, I don't care about that. I don't need a family. She's still hardcore corporate raider, and it's like, okay, either you're gonna learn or you're not gonna learn. Some people are not part of your tribe.
Yeah.
And you have to know that. You have to pinpoint that and know that this person is not going to work in our tribe. And you have to get rid of them. You have to move them. Haley was not that type of person. Haley doesn't care about family. She lost everything. So she's like, listen, I'm about it for the money now. And that's important because the thing about it is Uncle Clifford was like, this is my home. This is my memories. This is the only thing I have. And my job is to save the pink. I hope he stays on that track and doesn't mess up like he did before. And that's key. So that's the what you have to look at when it comes to understanding finance and money is when it comes to the rules, what are the rules? So now you have people who are giving up ownership on certain things and not realizing how much ownership they're giving up and not understanding the rules of the game. This is why you get into the lab. I keep popping the lab. So that you can ask these questions so that you can have clarification on the things and the steps that you're going to be doing. So you don't want to give up ownership of anything when it comes to your intellectual property, your real estate, anything that is actually your ownership when it comes to you. You can give up part ownership, but you never give up full ownership. Case in point, today, I read an article about the woman who did the the coding for women, for girls. The board fired her. She started the organization. And I'm doing some research now, and I forget her name right now, but I'm doing some research now to see why she got fired. She started this coding program for girls nationwide. She got a whole bunch of money. She set up the whole thing, and the board fired her. So I want to see why. Same thing that happened to Apple. What's his name for Apple, Patrice?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Same thing happened to him. He gave too much power.
Yep. You cannot give up that much power.
Give up as long as you maintain 51% of the asset. And what you do is those other 49, you split that up with other people. Got it? But you make sure that no matter what, you maintain 51%. Because what happens is out of those 49%, those people, they can actually galvanize and work against you. But if you have 51%, they can't do anything.
Right.
Got it? That's key. But you understand that. Uh, Next, Keyshawn encounters the stepmom, goes to pick up the kids. The kids are not there. Where are they? They're with the father. She goes there. What happens? Child Protective Services is there. Rotten scene, messed up scene. But look what happened.
When she finally snapped, and she did it.
There you go. That's why I'm on. That's why we're gonna be twins on the show because you and I thinking the same way. Here, Keyshawn, every single scene, whenever there was confusion and chaos, she crumbled. She just went in and she got withdrawn. But here, she snapped. What does that tell you? You can't push somebody but so much, so far, but so long. Because somewhere along the line, they're gonna snap. And that's what she did. She snapped. And that's sorry and sad because she was almost out. Now remember, I said that Haley didn't care about anybody. Haley cared about Keyshawn.
She did because she saw Keyshawn in herself.
Bingo.
That's That's what it was. She saw Keyshawn in herself. That was only it.
Keyshawn is the only person Haley cared about. So now, like you said, Patrice, she saw Keyshawn, she saw herself. So she was helping her. And this is why you have to look at these things and like, wow, okay, that's what it's all about. She wanted Keyshawn to save herself and save the pill, save the babies and all of that good stuff. So that's the only thing she cared about. So
Cause she gotta get that money, and then she put up in that nice car. I said, "Oh, okay, Haley hooked her up."
yeah, got it. Mhm. Okay, so now they go to the party scene. And it's a touching scene. It's a lot of heart talk. Mercedes is leaving. Little Murder returns. Okay, um, they're dealing with the hard stuff. This is the mushy stuff because we know it's the end of the episode, the end of the season. The mushy stuff um, uh, has nothing to do with money, but Little Murder and Clifford. The dance that they've been doing is like, I want to be with you, I, but and they're pushing. Clifford is pushing away, and it's like, why are you pushing me? And it's that type of thing. But there's a part where Clifford says something so deep. Um, Clifford said that in here in this room, it's real. Everything else is not real, and I have to have this. It can't be unreal. And it's like, wow, it's like he performs all the time, but here, when he doesn't have his frock on and all, this is me. This is the real me. And he's trying to tell that to Little Murder, and Little Murder's trying to give it to him, but he
Yes,
right, he keeps
pushing it back
right,
because of his past, because of the past experience when he has opened up. Like he said, 2 people ended up dead. So
yeah,
he's trying to, in his mindset, protect Lil Murder, but he's also protecting himself and his heart.
right, and it's fine as long as we understand the things that we're doing. So what I was looking at is why sometimes you have to give things a chance. You just have to, or you're going to be miserable all your life. That's what it all boils down to. The way
Yeah.
I see it, it's like either we're going to do this or we're not going to do it. So big party. What was funny was when Mercedes realized who Little Murder really was to Clifford. When she looked and see, it's like you got to be really tuned to situations and vibes and stuff that's going on, and you're going like, and she's like, "That's you, ain't it?" And it was like, and it all made sense to her. She's like, "Oh, okay, I got it now." But that was funny because the awareness factor of being keeping your eyes open, watching everything that's going on. Just you'd be surprised. And we're combining life and business. One of the techniques and one of the things that I do, and my people, they will attest to this. Is like I walk in and I read the room. I see who's sitting where. I see. I'm looking for the power.
That's why we are the way we are.
For the power. I'm looking for who's really the power person. I'm looking for who's talking nonsense and who's really. And I'm also looking at the way people treat other people. When I see people disregard other people, I put that in my head like, you know what? That that didn't have to happen. So if you're doing that and nobody's watching, okay, you know what? I'm gonna check that because if I have to do business with you, I'm gonna remember that all the time. Why did you dismiss this person? You didn't have to do that. People with power sometimes they belittle people, and you can't do that if you're the boss because technically you will get sued. I mean, you do it to me, you're going to get sued because I know the law and the whole thing. So I just wanted to let you guys see that, and it's all about what's going on. It's all about the party, the festive. Remember, it's the last episode of the season. It's all about the festivities. Grandma's out of the hospital. She's having a good time. She's having a party. Everybody call it frenemies. Well, no, Framley, Framley. Mily, family. So it's like they had a family party. All the friends and family were there. And
Right.
everybody was there. Everybody was there.
Everybody was there.
Yeah. So Big L comes in. Hey, look, Cliff, I need you to check this out. Boom, it goes to the computer. Okay. So here we go. I told you guys, Haley's a shark. She's a beast. The whole thing. Now remember, there's a quick scene where Andre is going to the prison to see his father, and he's calling Haley on the phone, but the phone is disconnected. Haley is already out the door. She knows what she's doing. She's out the door. And he called her twice, and the phone disconnected, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my gosh. So what happens? Big L says, Cliff, I need you to come look at this, or goes to the computer, boom, 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 looks at the account. What happens?
She cleared their money.
$42,000.
24,000.
42, sis.
It's 42? Okay, I gotta go back and watch that last one. I missed some parts.
It's 42, but it was negative 24.
Okay, so she took 42.
Right. So look at it. Yeah, negative. She left them negative 24. And okay, in the deficit. And funny, Jenny Fabrics. So who do we got? Haley, we got Autumn, we got probably another one. We got Jenny Fabrics. You see, all of this
from day one. She been a scam. She been a scammer and a snake, like you said, from day one, and we had no clue.
I think that she did something to her previous boyfriend.
Yeah.
I just, because if it's a snake, it's a snake. If it's a scorpion, it's a scorpion. So if this is her MO, why would I feel anything different?
Exactly.
There's no backstory to that. So we don't know. We just don't know. But if she knows how to hide money, like she was telling Andrew, how to set up a self-corporation, all of these things, okay, you know what you're doing. Not saying it's illegal, but if you know what you're doing, you can set up legal entities where you can do things like that. Okay,
exactly.
Just wanted to point that out there.
Exactly.
So she leaves. Okay, then what happens? Okay, the next thing you see is her carrying a black plastic bag in the white suit, and she turns around, and Erica Badu's song is playing. Didn't you know? And remember the lyrics to that. Didn't you know? I made a wrong turn. Didn't you know, the whole thing? And she's smiling. She got the black bag. We don't know what's in the black bag. Might be money, whatever.
I thought it was money.
It's probably money, okay. But remember, she transferred it. So it might be in another account.
Right.
That's fine. But the black bag, you know what the black bag is, though? If it's not money, what is the black bag? When you get, right, baby? My baby said clothes, right?
In the back, when you get kicked out, you got that black bag.
When you get kicked out and you got to leave now, what is that? That black bag is everything that you can carry in that black bag.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what I look at. But the thing is, she wasn't angry. She was smiling.
She was
smiling. So I might not have gotten the 10 million that I wanted, but I got whatever. I remember the conversation she's having with Keyshawn about when you disappear, don't tell anybody where you are. Don't tell anybody where you're going. Don't give them your real name. So she's going to set up somewhere else.
Yeah.
We don't know where she's going to set up, but she's fine. She got all that money, so she's good. So that's cool. So, but that's key because again, it's like I called it from the very beginning. She is a snake, and I don't know if I should use the term snake, but she is a corporate. I'm just going to say corporate raider because that's what corporate raiders do.
Yeah.
They don't care about people. They don't care about history. All they care about is the bottom line, the money. And that's what she cared about, was the money. She didn't get what she wanted, but she got
something. She got at least her investment back plus an additional 42,000 that she stole from Clifford.
42,000, yes. And the additional was the $250,000 that Clifford gave her the check back. So she's okay. She's okay. But the point that I'm making is that people were talking about, her relationship with Andrew and this and that, and I'm like, nah, nah. Listen, you get.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the Brooklyn in me. I don't listen. I don't know what it is, but you need to know when you're getting played. You need to know when you're getting played because Haley was doing things, and I'm like, why is she doing that? If you look at certain scenes, Andrew would go to kiss her, and she would pull back. Just look close. It's like, why would you do that? Because she had Andrew on the line, and he just didn't see it. He just didn't see it, and that's crazy. So, I mean, that was the funny part, and I called it, so I'm happy. I called it. All right, so we jump back to the party. Okay, Clifford and Murder talking two things. Okay, they're talking blah blah blah, and that scene you got to look at it. We don't know if it's real because there's the dream state. You know what I'm saying? It's that dreamy, foggy stuff going on. You see what I'm saying? And then you got to remember that Big L just gave Clifford some drugs. See what I'm saying? So we don't know if that scene is real or not. But Little Murder said this is not a dream. So
Right.
we don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
Remember when they became public, because they're coming out. They became public and everybody's looking. Who do you see in the crowd? You see grandma, right? But if you look at grandma, she has her sight. Look at it close. She has her sight. And you see Clifford's mother.
Right. She showed up, and then all of the strippers, which is Clifford's family, right? His direct family, and right, and Mercedes, right?
Right. So they're all there. So it's like I you want it to be real, but again, it's that misty, foggy, we want it to be real. Hopefully, it's real. But we'll see in the next episode, the next scene. So, just wanted to share that with you because that's important because it's like after all of these past two seasons, Clifford got everything he wanted.
Right. That's
Pink,
the illusion that they made.
he got the pink back. He got his man, all of this. And that's key because when you look at it, it's like, you know what? All of this, I'm okay. Because remember, the pink is the only thing he has. That's all his memories. That's everything that he has. Next scene, the last scene, which is kind of, I was kind of frustrated with this scene because you find out that the chick that Diamond was dealing with, and you called it, Patrice, you,
Told you.
you called it at the very beginning. You thought that she was involved with the gang, and
Yep.
she was involved with the gang. So you find out that, and I'm having problems with Diamond. Diamond is supposed to be Big Bag Diamond. He's getting
Supposed to be on that, right?
he's supposed to be. I'm like, come on, what's going on here? So when we look at it, I'm like, okay, all right. So if you go back with that situation, I really think that she had a thing for Diamond. But when she saw Keyshawn kiss,
It's him. It changed.
it changed. You look at it, it changed because it was like she had a thing for Diamond, but she was like, okay, you know what? Now it's time to get back to work. Let me go this and do this thing. And then you see he gets stabbed and thrown into the trunk of the car, and then it goes off.
She stabbed him.
Yeah, she set him up. So we're gonna have to see what's going on with that one. So that is it for we got 8:47. Okay, that is it. So um, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and touch on a couple of key scenes because we gotta get into the financial part. And so now, boom boom. Oh, we all figured out that Roulette's a pimp. There was a scene where, was it last episode, where the young lady who got fired and Roulette gives her the money and Whisper says, Roulette takes care of me. I didn't understand that until I saw this episode when the lady was like, I know what you're doing, Roulette. Well, how can I be part of your stable? I was like, oh, Roulette is really a pimp.
She really pimping out now. Yeah,
Remember, she pimped out Whisper in the hotel with the dude.
right.
See, all these things, it didn't connect until you see it all played out. It's like, oh, okay, she is a pimp for real. And the girl was like, I know what's going on. I see what's going on. You know, how can I be part of the stable? And then Roulette looked at her like, okay, all right, so we're gonna see how that goes. So that's all of these things are coming into play. So let's go back real quick. Let's recap because a couple of things I want to talk about. We talked about the little murder, the cracked images, 7 pounds of pressure, the transformation. Okay. We talked about the mayor and the chair. It's not going to work with her because she's just not ready for that position. So I know this for a fact. Mercedes with the $30,000, her likeness or image. Royalties, key, sponsorships expire, but royalties last forever. Write that down, please. Sponsorships expire, but royalties last forever. That's key. Think about your business, think about your ideas, think about your intellectual property. How do you protect that? Can you get royalties for something that you've done? We're looking at what's her name? What's it? Big Khalees? Is that her name? Khalees?
Hmm.
Khalees, thank you. We were just looking at it. A lady and I were just looking at it. Khalees and her situation with Beyonce. She's upset. But when I looked at it, I was like, Khalees can say all she wants, but she doesn't have ownership of that song. It's not her song. All she did was perform it. So what is she talking about? So she's saying that Khalees is saying it was a collaborative written between her and the Neptunes and the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You're saying that, but show
But
me.
there's no real paperwork to show that. That's the messed up part. Yeah. So, because that's what she's saying, that was her song. She wrote that song. But like you're saying, the legalities of it, you never fixed that. Right. So you're saying now, however many years later that this is your song, but you never fought for that. You never went and fixed that, however many years ago, once you found out that you didn't own it or on paper that it wasn't on paper the right way. But I kind of agree with you with that, with how everybody played that on over the internet trying to like blame Beyonce. But Beyonce did all of the legal parameters that she was supposed to do, with it. So at the end of the day, that was Khalees's wishes. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. She didn't want to be paid any future royalties off of it. The way the Beyonce, because like you said last week, the way the Beyonce was trying to put it, like, okay, you didn't get the deal back then, but here I'm trying to get you something that's going to get you some long-term money. And even if she didn't have a conversation with her about it first, she didn't like it. It is what it is, right? But everybody was talking about it from, like what you said, the royalty standpoint, of her not being able to get that. And what she said clearly in the media was she don't care about the money. That was not
I,
her goal and her thing.
yeah, but I doubt that. I doubt that because there's a court of public opinion, right? And then there's a real court.
Right.
There's a real court. So no matter what, okay, that's not right. That's not right. Okay, fine. In front of the judge is looking at the paperwork. That's what the judge is looking at.
Yeah.
Did you sign this? Yes, I did. Okay.
And that's what it comes down to, the paperwork.
You signed it. So now, well, I didn't understand it. Did you sign it? Case in point, you have to understand if you do not understand what you're signing,
Do
don't
not sign.
sign it. Don't sign it. Get a third party to look at it, hire someone to look at it, because remember, this is what you are signing away. You can be signing away money, you can be signing away your life. Famous Amos, remember, could not use his name. And I don't know if you guys know who Famous Amos is, the cookie guy in the 70s. Very famous cookie guy. The company bought him out. he could not use his name because he signed it away. So these are the things that you have to look at. And I was talking to someone about what's their name? What's the three sisters from the 80s? That got left eye. What was their name?
TLC.
TLC. Now I don't know if you know the story, but there were four of them. There were four of them. And what's her name? Whatever her name, the manager said, listen, I need you girls to sign this. And the fourth one said, I don't want to sign this without my parents seeing it. So
I never knew that.
oh yeah, what's her name? What's whoever I forget her name, Pebbles or whichever one. The manager was like, listen, if you don't sign this, you're out the group.
Pebbles was the manager of the group at the time.
The other three signed. This fourth one didn't sign, so they kicked her. Well, Pebbles kicked her out the group. But look at what happened to the group. We're talking about high pressure. Come on, guys. We all know this. When somebody's pressuring you to do something, like right now, real fast, that's the pause moment right there. That's when you're supposed to go like, okay, you know what? No. Because if this deal is so important and so lucrative right now, it's going to be important and lucrative tomorrow morning.
Right.
Give me 24 hours to look at this. There's something that they don't want you to see. And this is what it's all about. This is why you take your time. This is why you understand what you're reading. This is why you look at it. And if you don't understand it, you take it and you have somebody who does understand it to be able to interpret it for you. This is what it's all about. And remember, if you are in a business, this is all an expense, a tax write-off. So stop thinking you can do everything all by yourself.
Attorney. Pay an attorney. I paid an attorney to review my contract when I signed my lease on my first office building, right? To be able to teach me and to be able to know what to look for when you're looking at a lease, right? Because it was certain parts of the lease you can read, but then it was certain lingo that was like, I don't know about that, right? Mm-hmm. So I paid an attorney to go ahead and just review the contract in detail, do what you need to do. And this is what a lot of people, like you said, mess up when on the business side. On the business side, when any of you all are dealing with business, you have to look at your paperwork. You have to check it. You have to read that small, fine print, because just like Chuck said, these are the kind of things that are written and hidden in these kind of contracts and agreements. And you have to be able to see them and then be able to speak to them, because one of the benefits of me hiring that attorney, he crossed out certain areas of the contract and he said, cross this out. Yes. You let them know that you do not agree to this, and right. that way, or you go and so he wrote in, we crossed in, and then we wrote in certain things that we were going to do and not going to do. And he was like, no, you're not going to do that. No, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have known that if I didn't hire him. So, I would, it wasn't bad, but it was some things that he just was saying, as you don't own this property. So a lot of times when you guys are signing lease agreements or you're trying to find storefronts, what I noticed with a lot of, I know it's off topic just a little bit, but not really, because this is life and business. But I noticed with a lot of new business owners, when they sign these storefront agreements, a lot of these ladies, because I see women a lot with it, they're building out these companies, right? They're building out the space. And I'm like, baby, there's no way that you should be building out the space and still paying rent and trying to figure out how to, work your business and come up with your business. I'm like, I'm gonna just give y'all this gem on here. Whenever you are doing a lease agreement, and if there's work that needs to be done, if the owner is not willing to pay for that, that's not your building, one. So you should never be paying for construction out of your pocket. What you want to do is, if the owner is not willing to structure out the property the way that you need it, what you negotiate is not paying rent. So I negotiated 4 months of rent, which my rent at that time was $2,000 plus the deposit. So I did not pay the deposit, and I did not pay the $2,000 a month for 4 months. So I saved about because he wanted first month and last month. So that's 4,000 plus 8,000. So that's 12,000 that I negotiated, right? And I spent about 5,500 in my office. So I
Right.
still won.
Right.
Even though I did a little build out, I didn't do a whole big build out, but I did a small one. But that's the way that I negotiated to where he wasn't coming out of his pocket, right, for it. But then that way, I'm not coming out of my pocket to build up this person's office and space because that's money that I would have paid anyway, right? So that's what you guys want to do when you're looking. And again, that's the benefit of having a lawyer or someone reviewing your contracts and these lease agreements and these paperwork, because that's what's going to save you, right? And that was one of the things that he had shared with me was this is not your building. So there's no way you should be paying for a build out. And then that's when he was telling me, like, you need to negotiate other things. He didn't tell me to negotiate the rent. I ended up talking to another friend of mine that kind of told me to negotiate the rent. But I still learned, in that situation with him, there were certain things in that lease that I should not have agreed to when we crossed that out. And I didn't even know you could do that you can cross stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so even that, like, it's a lot when it comes to business.
Now remember, everything is negotiable. Just understand, everything's negotiable.
Yeah.
So, but here's what, again, what you guys, aside from everything that I said, what Patrice just told you was worth $10,000. Might even be $20,000 because you're going to have a situation and you're going to remember tonight, and you're going to say to yourself, "Let me follow instructions. Let me do what Patrice said to do, and let me have somebody look at this." This is why I knew about the PPP loans, because at the very beginning, someone gave me the contract for the PPP loans, and I fine-tuned, I combed it line by line, and I highlighted things, and I was like, "Okay, here's my response to this." And I was like, "Let me show you this. If you want to be responsible for these things that I highlighted, go right ahead. But if you don't, you need to understand that you don't need to take that PPP loan." I knew about them before a lot of people were getting them, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy."
Yeah.
But if you have a legitimate business and you're on the up and up, this is not going to be an issue. But if you're doing something that you're not supposed to, it's going to be an issue. I had a situation where I was looking at a contract, and I'm not going to name the person, but the person is a well known person, and they were dealing with real estate. And I was looking at their contract, and I was looking at their program, and I'm reading the program, and I'm like, wow, wow. And a lot of people were upset at this person because the person, the investments that they did not pan out to where the person said it. But if you read their contract and read their agreement,
You would have seen that.
guaranteed that he was going to perform at the level that he spoke at, which is fine. What we do when it comes to lab and what we do when it comes to check finance, we read these things and then we decide if we're going to invest, if we're not going to invest. So now, if I'm reading a contract and the contract says there's no guarantee that your investment is going to recoup within the next 12 months, if all of that is in that fine print that you don't read, that's the escape clauses that the presenter of the contract is doing to protect themselves. You have to be able to do the same thing to yourself. Got it? So now everybody's mad at this person, but I'm not angry at the person because I read the contract. I'm like, oh, okay, good. So now people are like, well, how come you're not involved? I'm not involved because I don't agree with the wording of this contract. Don't you see it? No, we didn't read it. Okay, well, you're gambling now. We're talking about risk tolerance. What are you willing to risk? And you minimize the risk by doing your homework. But you know what they say? They say we don't read. They say we don't read. If you don't read, you got to get somebody that's going to read. You got to get somebody that's going to read. Now, I said a couple of weeks ago, if you are working in your business, You are just another employee. You're supposed to be working on your business. So now what Patrice said when she talked about contract agreements and negotiations and all that, if you are working on your business, those are the things that you're doing. Employees are working in your business, you're working on your business. How can you do this when you are working 8 hours in your business? You don't have time to fine tune and look at the key issues that will help your business grow. These are things you have to think about when it comes to scaling your business, growing your business, and increasing your business. Find your group, join the lab, do these things. You'd be surprised. Like I said, Patrice just dropped a total gem that if you guys truly heard her and understood what she's saying, you would value what she just said. That's key. Join. What time is it, Patrice? We got
It's exactly 1 hour.
exactly 1 hour. So, any questions?
No questions. We got a few, comments and agreeing and agreeing with what we talked about, but no direct questions. If any of you guys have any questions right now, this is the time to go ahead and ask your questions or comments if you have one.
We need you guys to comment, say something. Patrice, are we going to do a movie or are we going to start with startup?
What do you think? I guess we could kind of do a survey too. I can kind of send a survey out to see who's watched startup, because I guess we kind of would want them to be able to, follow it.
We need to do The Banker.
That's the movie. I still haven't watched that one. I got to sit down myself and watch that one.
We need to do The Banker because there's a lot of stuff in The Banker, and that's based on a true story.
Okay.
Yeah, and the founder is based on a true story. So we need to do those. So take the survey and then we'll find out. Because if we start with, that's like what, 3 seasons? And that's no startup.
Right. Startup is 3 seasons. We need to at least make sure that I could have my assistant put a survey together this weekend. And that we could send out the newsletter. If you guys are paying attention to, join the text community. We don't text you too often. I haven't sent one text out actually. We'll be sending one out, updating you guys because we're doing I'm doing a brunch. But if you join the text community, you'll get updates, and then also we can send you a survey link on maybe a couple. Maybe we can get them a couple, Chuck. Yeah. We can do startup. We can look at, say, The Banker. Like, make sure that you guys have seen these movies or series that we want to talk about, and then that way, we can plan to start the next one, because we definitely want to keep this going, with giving you guys access to, thinking outside the box with a lot of TV. A lot of people watch a lot of TV. Chuck and I don't watch as much TV as many of you do, but when we do watch it, again, this is how we think, right? we're analyzing these different programs and movies from a financial point, because this is what we do every day, all day. This is the field that we're in. So we see things a lot differently than the average person does. But yeah, I'm definitely down for it, Chuck. I'm down for it.
So what I'll do is I'll block Thursday nights, 8:00. So I'll put that in my calendar, Thursday nights, 8:00. What we want, again, we want people to comment, say something, hit the like button, do all the things that we do for the algorithms and all that stuff. Join me on Instagram, Chuck Finance at Instagram, and Chuck Finance on TikTok also. So so I'm going to be dropping some stuff real soon. You guys are going to be amazed at what's going to happen. Patrice and I are working on a couple of things. So we want you guys to stay connected, stay committed. Don't be committed to us. Be committed to yourself. Be committed to your goals. Be committed to your dreams. But know that you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to walk this thing alone. You have a family. You have a group that's going to help you via the lab, so that you can come with these questions and come with these things that can help you out, to help you navigate and move through this course when it comes to business. You don't have to bang your head up against the wall and try to figure things out. Just put it on the table. And I guarantee you, if Patrice doesn't have the answer, and if I don't have the answer, between the both of us, we know somebody that we can call and we can get the answer.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we have that. And then Patrice, you have the Tuesdays and Fridays, right?
Right. So I've been doing Tuesday kind of tax finance kind of tips, and then finance Friday I've been doing with Michela Vanison. And then actually tomorrow, Chuck, the three of us are gonna be on. I didn't ask you if you were available to get on or not. But if you can't do this Friday, then definitely next
What
Friday. But
time?
I think we set it up for 3 o'clock
Okay,
Central,
I'll let you know. So that's 4 o'clock my time.
4 o'clock your time. Yep.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll talk. I just got to make sure I'm somewhere where I can actually sit down.
And be there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I didn't tell her, I didn't schedule, we scheduled it, but I don't remember if yours was this Friday or we were going to do next Friday. So look at your schedule, because if this Friday doesn't work for you, that's fine. We can always do next Friday with the three of us on.
I just have to be in a place where you
No,
have.
I get it. Yeah, because you be out and moving around. Yeah. So, but yeah, I can give you the exact time, but I want to say we did it for 3 p.m. tomorrow Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right. So I hope that for the past 5 weeks you guys had a good time, um, listening to me rant over my interpretation of P Valley.
Right.
I'm going to go back to the beginning. My first episode, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the colloquialisms. I didn't like the things that they were saying. I didn't like the things that I was seeing visually, but that was the first episode. I always try to give a show 2 episodes before I make my final decision if I'm going to continue watching it. So as I'm watching the second episode, it made sense to me what I was looking at. And I knew that this is not about dancing. This is not about the romance. This is about gentrification. This is about getting that land. This is all about, from my interpretation, from my eyes. So but the thing was, you had to filter through all the other stuff,
Right.
get to the meat. It's
Yeah.
to get to the meat. So, and I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I had fun. Um, so yeah, I went and met you guys. Um, so yeah, that's cool. So let us know what else you want us to critique and go through, and we can really get down to it.
Right. So that's what you can do too, because on YouTube, we can still see your comments. The other platforms, the video goes away, because this is part of the lab community. So on YouTube, if you guys leave us a comment letting us know maybe what show that you're watching or that you want to go over next. But if you're in our community, you'll receive the survey email, and you'll also receive the text link kind of asking you what we'll give you a couple of ideas, and then if you've watched those particular shows, then that's a next one we'll be doing. But within the next week, we'll figure out the next show, and then Chuck, you and I can come back on next week and kind of announce what
Right. Mhm.
we'll be going over officially from there.
Okay. So for my nerd heads, um, I want you guys to watch a video that's on YouTube called "The American Dream." It's called the American Dream. Gosh, let me see. Okay, yes, it's about a half an hour. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's called the American Dream. It's a cartoon, but you got to see it. It's only half an hour, and it's about money and finance. It's going to blow you out the water if you haven't seen it yet. So let me get the actual name of it so you can see it. And I don't know if you can put it in the room, Patrice. Um, I don't know if you can link it in the room.
I can comment on YouTube.
Okay. So yeah. So I want you guys to watch that. So if we'll have something to talk about. Um, oh gosh, come on. It's not pulling up. Ah, it's not pulling up. It's the American Dream. Oh, you know what we'll do? Patrice, what we'll do is when we load this up, we'll put it in the description box so that people can click on it. Make sense?
The American Dream on YouTube.
I'm going to get the American Dream.
And then you said you also want them to look at The Banker because that's a show we are considering. So we are considering The Banker.
It's called The Collapse of the American Dream. The
Oh,
Collapse of the American Dream.
Collapse.
And it's a half an hour.
I hear you, Socks. I'm gonna get you in a minute.
Your child is upset.
I put him outside so he won't be all in my face while we in here on this interview and he out there barking.
Collapse of the American Dream is one of the
That's on YouTube.
things that we watch when I'm teaching financial literacy. And it's a cartoon, so just animation. So just want to let you know that.
And The Bank, I know Startup is on Netflix, right?
Yes, it's on Netflix.
What about The Banker? Is that on Netflix too?
That I don't know. We're gonna have to check and take a look.
Okay, Startup series.
The Banker is about the two brothers who own the banks in LA. But the things that they had to do to actually get that bank, because they were black.
Okay. So I typed it in, like I said, on YouTube. They could see those comments, or they'll just watch it after watch the replay.
Got it. All right, cool. Any questions, Patrice? Anybody?
Nope.
Any comments? No.
Nope.
I'm happy.
I have anything outside of what you posted. I mean, what you talked about with the recap. I actually realized when you were talking, I missed a few scenes for some reason. Like I didn't see the part where him watching the crack mirror. I didn't see Andre calling her twice going into the jail. So I'm gonna go back and watch the last episode myself. Maybe I was distracted.
Now, mind you, guys, I don't catch all of this on my first go around. I watch it for entertainment at the beginning, and then I go back in a day or two later, and I'll rewatch it again with my pause button, and be like, "Okay, what did I just miss?" And I'll take it back and be like, "Oh, okay, that's an important scene." So I don't want you to think that I'm catching it all in the first round. Like, no, because I want to enjoy what I'm watching.
Right.
I come back, I'm like, okay, I put it this way. I watch it like everybody else, and then I put my lens on. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? Yeah. So don't think that you can't do it. You just have to develop what we're talking about, knowing that if for instance, when Farrah gave Mercedes those stacks of papers, I automatically knew what it was. I knew it was an NDA. I knew it. But if you don't know this, if you don't know what an NDA is, you don't know what's happening. And that's why I get excited. I'm like, did this chick just give an NDA? I'm like, wow, this is what we're talking about. We want to bring you guys into a point of business where you understand what's going on when you're in the room.
Exactly.
That's
why it's called The Lab, Life and Business.
Because if not, somebody will take your stuff and you'll be upset and pissed off and trying to figure out what happened.
Yep.
Telling you the truth. Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
Contracts, trademarks, NDAs, all our business terms and agreements. And if you all have a business or are running a business, definitely pay attention to that. Chuck and I actually are, like I said, we have some things coming up where we'll be giving you guys some information, some workshops coming up.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. That's why I say get in the lab. If you don't want to get in the lab, definitely join the text community. Again, I'll put that up there now so that way you guys can get the number again. All you have to do is text family to 312-680-5468. And then we will keep you updated as we do have some upcoming events that are going to be coming out, and we'll be updating you guys this week.
Got it.
So that's it for me, Chuck.
That's it, guys. Join my TikTok, Chuck Finance. Join me on Instagram, Chuck Finance. I send out quotes and a couple of videos, but I don't hit you hard. I just give you things to think about when it comes to your business and what you do, and all about your mindset. And I know Patrice is real big on mindset, so it's all about the mindset. You control your mindset and what you're thinking, what you're doing, and make sure that no one else is doing it. You'll be okay. But you got to get into the lab so we can so we can put the right stuff in there.
Put the stuff in there, right? Because this is just 1 hour of stuff that we talk about. So okay. Well,
Oh,
thank you all for joining. If you are watching the replay, let us know, comment that you're watching the replay. And then, like I said, let us know on the next shows that you may want to look at. We gave you some at the bottom, and we'll come back next week. All right, everybody have a great night.
thank you, Patrice. Bye, everybody. Thank you.